Hey, I'm about to build a live Twitter parasite system right in front of you that scrapes tweets from top performing posts on Twitter based on a keyword that we give it, rewrites them in your tone of voice using AI, and turns them into a stream of content that you can post automatically. If this is your first time here, my name is Michele, and over the past 12 months, I've helped over 40 businesses implement AI and automations and taught over 15,000 people in the process, all starting with zero technical knowledge. All right, so I'm just gonna run it and show you exactly the outcome that we get. We have a form where we can add a keyword. So in this case, let's just put AI agents. To submit. This now starts the automation. It calls a scraper on Apify, so you can scrape the top 100 tweets on Twitter based on that specific keyword that we give it. If we go here, we can see that this is running. It's got 80 so far. So you can see now it went to the wait because we're waiting 5 seconds before adding it to the next Apify node to get all the data, to then add to the first AI step, which will classify the relevance of the tweet, whether it's actually good for us to actually post it or whether it could be considered a good content idea. And we're only letting 50 items through at one time because we want to make sure that we don't give all the AI the whole context in all 217 tweets. This now sends only the relevant tweets now to the other agent or to the other AI step, which will rewrite it in our tone of voice before adding it to the Google Sheet. All right, if you go here to our Google Sheet, you can see that we have the AI agent keyword, the original post, so the original tweet, and the rewritten tweet that we take in order for us to then be able to post it to our platform. All right, so let's dive in. I'm gonna go to a new workflow, personal, right here, and we start from zero. Now, in theory, I would have to go to Miro, which is a platform where we actually map out the automation before actually building it. And we're gonna start strategizing behind what is it that we want, right? Now, initially, a parasite system is using someone else's content to be able to repurpose it for our own. And so, because we're talking about Twitter operates with keywords, as in like you give a keyword and you can get a bunch of tweets. So the input has to be a keyword, right? The input is a keyword. That's the input. Now the keyword can be a form, can be a button, can be a message. It can be different things. We can give the input in different ways, a form, a message, whatever it is, an email. But in this case, because we have n8n forms integrated within n8n, we can use the form right here. Actually, let me just put n8n form here. And this will be the keyword. That will be like the only question that will be asked. Now, after we have the form with the n8n keyword, we should send it to a scraper. In this case, we use Apify. And I'll talk about which one's the best, how we actually find them and that sort of stuff. But in this case, scraper scrapes tweets based on keyword. Scrape tweets, actually just put scrape tweets based on keyword. Let's make it bigger. And now we want to be able to send it to an AI because not all tweets that come from that keyword are relevant to what we do. So use AI to check relevance. And then if it's relevant, we want to rewrite it. Okay. Rewrite relevance tweets. Okay, so that's exactly how it's going to go. And then we're going to be adding it to a Google Sheet. n8n form, scrape tweets based on keyword that we have using the form. Then we use AI to check the relevance. Then we rewrite the relevant tweets. So this will be a filter in here. There'll be a filter whether it's actually relevant or not. And then we can rewrite it and then add it to a Google Sheet. Okay, I think that's pretty standard, pretty easy. The first step here is n8n form. So let me actually make that on n8n. And again, this is step by step, so you'll see everything. The first step right here, I can press add, I can go here, and now I can have different options. In this case, it will be on form submission because we're using the n8n form right here. So if I press this, I'll have this page. Now again, n8n forms, we have a test URL, we have production URL. The test URL is something that we use when we're actually testing the automation. But once this button right here is turned on, where we actually activate the automation, so we don't have to keep executing a workflow every time manually, we will be using production URL. But in this case, let's leave it here because we're testing. Authentication, we'll leave it. We don't need any password. Authentication is sort of saying, do you want a password to your form? We don't need it. The form title can be Twitter parasite system. Yeah, there we go. I don't know, for some reason I always put the Y instead of the I. And then here you can add, please add a keyword to activate this system. And now we can, so this will be the form description as in all you'll see in the form. And now we can start adding the questions. So if we add a form element, this just means add a question. The field name will be keyword. It will be a text and placeholder. Let's just put an example, AI automation. Okay, and this will be an example thing that they see before they even run it to get an idea of what they have to put. Let me put required. Then it's asking us respond when form is submitted. Yes, because we want the trigger. We want to send information there when the form is submitted. And that's it. So let me execute the step. Let me test this out. Let me do AI agents. I submit. And now here I should be able to see the output. And it's green. All good. And the keyword is AI agents. It tells me the date, the form mode, which is in test mode, right? Because we're using the test URL. So that's good. So that's the first step done. Now we get on to the next step, which is the Apify. So scrape tweets based on keywords. Let me delete this. We'll go to Apify from scratch. I go to apify.com, which is a platform where it's sort of like a Amazon. And the products that you're buying are scrapers. Okay. And the Amazon products, someone makes them, you just use them. Okay. So in this case, that's exactly what this is. People make scrapers, you just use them to do whatever. And it's all code in the backend, right? But again, we don't want to use code. So that's why we use someone else's thing. So typically when it comes to scraping, like the first thing you do is go here and search up the thing that you want to do. In this case, it's Twitter scraping. What's there? Usually I would look at the reviews. Like that's the first thing I would look at. Reviews, and the ratings. And then I would go out and look for the price. Now, because I already did this, I have on home this scraper right here, which is if you want the actual thing, just copy this xdata/Twitter xscraper. You can copy this. You can go here, Apify store. You can paste it, and you will have this one right here. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to use because of the fact that it's actually very cheap. So Apify actually gives us $5 to anybody who signs up every month. Okay, and we have 8 gigabytes. This is more than enough to be using this scraper, which is 35 cents per 1,000 tweets. If we scrape 100 tweets per keyword, we have to do, and that's what. That's not even that's not something to even mention, right? In terms of price. So it's basically free. So you can use it as much as you want. Obviously, again, not infinite, right? Because we still have 35 cents for 1,000 tweets. We have $5. So with that being said, we have basically the scraper tells us that the input in this case can either be a start URL. It can be a URL of a tweet or whatever it is. It can be a search term, which is a keyword, or it can be a Twitter handle. Okay. In this case, we want to be able to add a keyword because that's the thing that we're inputting, which is why we add, so if I press X, I can add here. I'm gonna do AI automation, whatever it is. And for you to actually see it on n8n, you have to actually start and run it once for it to save. So I already did this, so I don't have to do this again, but you can start and then save it. And then maximum number of items output. That's good. All right, so let me go to n8n and actually, because I have the scraper already, I'm gonna go to Apify right here, and I'm gonna run an actor because the actor is these scrapers. Like the scraper itself is kind of an actor. So if I press run an actor, it gives me the option to actually connect Apify to n8n. If I press here, I can now put the API key, which I can find when I go to settings. I go to API integrations, and this will be the one here, default API token. If I copy this and I go out here and I paste it, this will now, let me put 100 connection, 100 connection, 2nd September. Press save. This will now save. As you can see here, you can't see it because I'm there, but it will be credentials successfully created. If I go here, now I will have the connection. Okay. The resource will be actor. The operation will be run an actor because that's the action that we're doing. Actor, we can be actor source recently used actors. You should do Apify store actors in case you haven't used it yet. From the list, now you have a list of actors that you've probably used. If this is the first time, you'll see none of them. But you will see the one that you just ran, which is the one that we just spoke about, which is the one here. So this is the one that you have to use. Look for the handle, xdata Twitter scraper, or look for the name, x.com Twitter API scraper. If I go here, I can then look the thing, right? And it tells us the name. So we know that it's this one. I'm gonna press this. And now it's asking me for a few things. It's asking me, what's the input JSON? So how do you know the input JSON? Well, you can actually scrape on Apify using 2 different ways. You can scrape on the platform. So you can go here and actually put the keyword and run it and get the results manually and download it as a CSV or whatever it is. Or you can actually use it automatically. Use it automatically, you need the JSON here. So this is the manual process. In case you want to use JSON, we have to press this button right here. And now it gives us the JSON that we can copy, right? And the only thing we had to change in this case is a search term, which is the variable that we get from the form that we fill out, okay? So if we copy this whole thing. We go here, we paste it back. Okay, so if you do this, we just copy it. And now, the only thing we have to change here, because the search term is the thing that's dynamic, we have to change the search term, which we get from the keyword. If I delete this, and I pull this across keyword in the middle, right? Make sure that it is in the middle. Make sure that is not here. Make sure that it is in the middle between the two quotes. So now this will do is this variable right here will be changed. Okay, it will be dynamic, will be something that changes as the form submissions change. So what did we do here? We created the actor, we connected the actor, we said, okay, this actor is fine. Then I went to Apify, I said, okay, if this is the manual way of doing things with these settings, AI automation 100 and so on, top, the JSON for it is this. Top, AI automation 100 and so on, right? So you want to copy this, you want to paste it here, and then the only thing you want to replace is the actual keyword that you use to actually script the tweets. And that's asking us for wait for finish. In this case, yes, we want to wait for finish. What this means is that we can, if we toggle this off, we can basically send the data to the actor, but it will say it's successful. As in, like, it won't give us the data back. It will just run it. But if you press wait for finish, what it will do is that it will send the information to the actor like this. It will wait for the actor, which in this case can take 45 seconds to finish, and then it will give us the data. Okay. So in this case, that's exactly what we want. Timeout. We don't need timeout. Memory is fine. That's fine. So let me actually test this. In this case, I can press execute step, I believe. Yeah. So what this will do is it will go here. You see how now it's running. So it's running a new search term based on the keyword AI agents, which we just ran before. Again, execute step. The good thing about n8n is that you can actually test it using the data from the previous steps. So now it's waiting. So we're actually waiting for the data to come back. We script 60 so far. And now I believe we have to wait 20 more seconds for it to load. But this right here is basically what's happening. It's giving us a whole log of everything that's happening within the actual platform and how it scrapes. All right, cool. So it's finished. If I go here, I can see that I get different data, but we don't actually get, like you can see, we don't actually get the tweets. What we get is a bunch of fields. And the thing that you really have to care about is this right here, default dataset ID, because this right here is the thing that we're going to feed into the next node, still Apify, for us to actually extract the information. So if I copy this code and I go here and I put another Apify node, Apify, in this case, it can be get dataset items. So I can just find it. There we are, right here, get dataset items. So if I go to get dataset items, what this means is that the only thing that we have to feed it is the dataset ID. So if I paste this manually, in this case, it will have to be automatic. If I execute the step, now this will give me all the data, just 50 items, 50 tweets for that specific keyword, where we can go through. I go in table, I can see that it's a bunch of data and it's divided into pages. This is how we get the data from Apify. This actor runs, we wait for it to finish, then we get the dataset ID, which we feed into the second node, which will get all the data from that dataset ID, and then we can go out and use it for whatever. Now the limit, we can leave to 500. So if I go to execute step, now we see 179. It was 50 because that's a limit. Or that was the limit. Dataset ID, that's the thing we have to replace. So in this case, you can go here to default dataset ID, and you want to drag it across here. And the connection is the same. The resource is dataset, operation is get items, offset, limits, and that's all good. All right, so now that we have the data, we can go to the next step. So if I go here to Miro, the next step is to use AI to check the relevance. There's only one problem here, is that we're sending 179 items to the AI step, which you can't do because sometimes it can overload, which means that it's too much information and will not run, it will error out. So in this case, in order for us to actually be able to send, let's say 50 and then 50 again and then 50 again until it finishes, we have to use a loop over items. So I go loop over items. And now it's asking me for a batch size. So batch size is saying, okay, what is that number? How many items do you want to send through before we loop back and get another, right? So in this case, we can do 50 and leave everything else as is. So in theory, now it will get 179 or whatever it is it needs to get. It will send it, it will only send 50 through based on here. And then it will go back 50 again until it finishes. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. Let me delete this. And now I can start adding the next steps of the automation. So in this case, again, is the AI to check the relevance. So we can go here, loop, to AI. We can go to OpenAI, message a model, because we're messaging a model. And now, in order for us to connect our OpenAI to n8n, we have to go here to create a new credential. we have to get the API key. Now, the API key is something, it's sort of like a password that says, hey, and then you have access to my account. You can talk to it. You can talk to the GPTs, whatever it is you have to do automatically. In order for us to get the API key, we have to go to here to platform.openai.com. We can go to, you have to sign in, of course, go to dashboard, go to API keys on the left-hand side. You can create a new secret key on the top right, name it whatever you want. We can do n8n workflow. When you create a secret key, this now will be the API key that you will use when you have to go back to n8n and paste it here. Okay. Now make sure you don't share this API key with anyone, because it is something that if someone else has access to it, they will start spamming your money. So don't do it. So copy this, bring it back here, paste it, and then you will have the connection sorted. Now, once this is done, you'll have the connection here. The resource is text. The operation will be message a model. The operation is sort of saying, what is it that we're doing? And then from the list, the models, we can just use, let's do 4.0 latest. I think that's fine. Or 4.0 mini. I think 4.0 mini is 4.1 mini. That's like, we're looking for something that's like quality plus speed, right? So 4.1 mini, that's fine. All right, so we have the prompt right here, which is in this case a system prompt, because again, we give it an identity. If I go in here, let me just zoom in. And you say, you are a helpful, precise tweet classifier for an automation-focused audience, people who build or learn automations, and then make.com Zapier. APIs and webhooks, AI agents, RPA, workflow ops, integration patterns, rebuild, tool releases that impact automation work. Now, this will obviously be replaced with whatever you're doing. So you can change this to your kind of audience. But for me, it's AI automation. And now I'm going to start adding the user and assistant. So for the user, I'm going to add a prompt that allows it to, so user, to say whether this is relevant or not. So again, system is for you are a helpful, intelligent XYZ. So it knows it's that thing. So if it thinks it's that thing, the output quality is going to get better because you gave it an identity. And now for the user prompt, we say, hey, classify a tweet for an automation focused audience, return only verdict, relevant or not relevant. So this is using JSON. So we're saying, hey, only output this. This is the key. This is the value, relevant or not relevant, based on these rules. Relevant if it contains actionable automation content, how-tos, real build, API, webhooks, integrations, agent, RPA workflows, templates, or ops patterns. Because in this case, we only want things that are actually relevant to what we do. And then not relevant if it's genetic, AI tech news, motivational, personal, no automation coding, politics, finance, or tool discounts, or vague hype with no build impact. And we only tell it to output JSON only, okay? Because that's the only variable that we want. We don't really care about anything else. We just want to say, hey, is this relevant or is this not relevant? Once this is done, now we can give it the tweet. So if I add another user message, so in this case, I believe I have to run the previous steps. Yeah, I have to run the previous steps. For me to see here, I have to execute previous nodes. In this case, it's running. So we have to wait about 40 seconds, but then we'll be able to pin the data and then we don't have to rerun everything again. All right, so it just finished running. Now we're using AI, but we have the variables on the left-hand side that we can use to actually add it here. I'm just going to stop this. Okay. Now all we have to add is this. So we added, you are a helpful, intelligent, or whatever assistant. And the prompt is you need to check whether the actual tweet is relevant or not. But now we have to give it the tweet. So last user message will be, here's the tweet that you need to classify. And now we have to find the tweet here. So if I go to not loop over items, it will be get dataset items for sure, because that's where the data is all at. If I scroll, something you have to do with these sort of things, because there's so many fields, most of them don't matter. Okay, yeah, it's definitely description. Description, that's the closest thing that looks like a tweet. Yeah, description. So now we can drag this across, not loop of items, this one right here. You can drag this across, make sure it's API right here. And now this will be the thing that will be used to actually check whether it's relevant or not. So here we can rename this to relevance agent. Although it's not really an agent, right? Because it's just a step. It's an AI step. All right, cool. So once we do this, now we can go to the next step, which in this case is actually filtering. Okay, so we want to actually run this because we want to make sure that we have the data to test. But I actually forgot to do one thing. So this agent's going to run, but I forgot to do one thing, which is turn this on. Output content as JSON, because we tell it, hey, output this as JSON. So we have to turn this on to let it know the output is JSON. That's all it is. So now what it's doing is it's running through 50. So we still get the data, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. But now it's running through all the prompts. It's checking every single person or every single Twitter post that's made. And that's the thing we're going to use to go into the next steps. All right, so you can see now it's null. There's no data. So now we have to turn this on, output content as JSON, and let's rerun it again. Let's execute this step again. Now it will take the data from these steps, and now it will run it again to make sure that we can now actually test the data or test the step to make sure that we have the correct things. All right, cool. So now that it's finished, I can see here, schema. Okay, why did it error out? Why did it not work as we expected it to? Okay, this is part of the process, so let's see. I think it might be because of, it's not actually the author description, it's the text. So let me just press text here and let's see what I get. It should be full text. Okay, that's why. Okay, full text. I think that might be it. Yeah. I think that might be. Full text is the full text of the Twitter post. So let me execute this step again. And again, this is part of the process. I mean, we mess up. We have to check the variables, not check the variables, see what works, see what doesn't work. And if I didn't show this part of the process, I'd be lying because that's always what we go through when we build automations. I'm just gonna wait again until it finishes. All right, cool. So now if I go in here, I can see that now we have relevant, not relevant, and so on. Now, the next step here is to add a filter because we're asking it to give us the relevant and not relevant so that we can filter out the ones that are not relevant and only send the ones that are. So in this case, to add a filter, we just press plus and put filter. Remove items matching in condition. In this case, the filter would be if the verdict is equal to relevant, then we send only those ones through. That's it. That's what we're doing. So if I run this, believe that it will do it. Yes, should do it. Or we've run it. Oh, it's gonna run it again. Okay, I forgot to pin the data. Okay, I should have pinned the data, so that I don't have to run it again. Always remember to pin the data, because then you see how now to rerun this, to only run this step, I have to start everything again and I have to wait like 40 seconds. So lesson learned. We're gonna pin the data in the next round. All right, so we just finished, and you see how of the 50 that went through, only 27 stayed. Only 27 were relevant. Now let me pin this data. I can drag it across, press P. So now if I wanted to test this again, I would just have this finished. And now to get onto the next steps, we have to go to the rewrite relevant tweet. Okay, we're still going to use an AI, but in this case, we're not using OpenAI, we're using Claude. Now, the reason why we're using Claude is because Claude is extensively better at writing content. Okay, so if I go here and I write Claude, Anthropic, I can go to generate a prompt, zoom out. Now, to connect your Claude to the n8n, we have to go here, create a new credential. You have to get the API key, so we can go to anthropic.console, get the API key, create a key right here. You can name it whatever you want, and then you can add and you will get the API key. Once that's done, you bring it back and you will paste it here. All right, so now that you pasted it, now that you connected your API key to Claude, the resource is text. We want to message a model. The list, let's do 3.5 Haiku, that's fine. I think that is one of the best at writing content. Or is it Sonnet? Okay, let's just do Haiku in this case. I think this is like the fastest. It takes the most context, the most amount of words. And the prompt in this case, let me just copy it from the automation I made before. Is the one here. It says, overview, you're a helpful, intelligent writing assistant. Rewrite the tweet that I'm going to give you in a way that encapsulates the original theme but uses different words. So that's what parasite just means. We're taking something and rewriting it in our own words. I'm targeting this audience. My results are this. So I worked with generated just under 6 figures, worked with over 40 businesses and taught over 17,000 people. And I got to do a bunch of fun stuff like travel, enjoy my life, etc. The rules is use no fluff, young tone when rewriting the tweet, because that's me, young, and then only upload the tweet and that's it. That's a pretty standard prompt. That's a pretty good prompt. It has overview, it has task, and it has my results. Now what you see here is hashtags. Hashtags are they're used for markdown formatting. So this right here means it's heading 1. This right here is heading 2, heading 2, heading 1. Okay. We do this because that way the GPT knows what's the title and it can basically categorize or has the hierarchy to what to look at first. All right, so now that this is done, we cannot prompt the same model to, we have to give it the tweet essentially for it to actually do something. So we can add a message, user. In this case, we can say here is the tweet to rewrite, rewrite. All right, and now we can pull the tweet from, so was it full text? Yeah, full text. There you go. All right, so now that this is done, we can, I believe, test. Yeah, we can test. Let me pin this. Pin this as well. Pin this as well. So I don't want any problems having to run everything. Let's execute this step. So now it's actually running. This is running, taking the data from here and from here, and it's going to give us an output, which you then need. All right, in the meantime, once we finish this, we have to make a Google Sheet. Okay, so let's make the Google Sheet right now. Let's go to sheet.new. Let me copy the headers that I had before, keywords, original post, and rewritten post. Because again, we want what I wanted here when I actually thought of the system was the keyword. I want to see exactly where the comment came from, the keyword. The original post, so in this case, it will be the original tweet, rewritten tweet. Okay, that's fine. All right, so you can see this is taking a bit long, but that's fine. Because it is taking, it is Claude, and it's 27 add-ins as well to rewrite something, so that's normal. So now let's rename the sheet to Twitter system, because I already need this parasite system. Twitter system. The sheet is 1. Let's put this to new tweets, ideas. And now, okay, we have the output here, which in this case is rewritten tweets that we can use. And now we want to store everything in a Google Sheet. So I'm going to go here, press plus, sheet, Google Sheet, add a row. So append a row. Append just means add. And now you have to connect your Google Sheets. You have to go here, create a new credential. You can sign in with Google. It will take you to a page. You can just press the account. In this case, this is my account. Press OK. Successful. It means it's all good. You can go back to n8n. Name this Kelly connection. And then the date. Press save. That's fine. The connection's made. Now we want to do a sheet within a document. We want to append a row. Again, operation just means what's the action that we're doing. And the document is Twitter system. Twitter system. Cool. And the sheet is new tweet ideas. We're going to leave this as map each column manually because this is the manual step. We want to basically map the variables to the columns so that they change and they add every single time. In this case, the keyword is, where can I find the keyword somewhere here? No, I think we have to run this. Yeah, we have to run this. Execute step. Okay, wait, let me get the link. Execute step. AI agents. Now I have this, I can pin this. So that here, I think now we'll have access. Okay, I think I need to rerun. Oh no, here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rerun all the steps in order to get the data. That's fine. That is okay. It happens. Because I definitely need to get better at pinning data and making sure the data is not, we don't have to rerun the whole thing. And we can have previous steps pinned so we can use it for the next steps. And learning process here, so that's fine. Okay, so this is done. When this is done, we have to pin this. We'll be able to access this variable right here, I believe. And then we can add everything to the sheet. All right, cool. So now it ran successfully. Let me pin this as well. And here, at least one value has to be added. Yeah, that's fine because we didn't add any keywords. Here I should be able to see the keyword. Perfect. Original tweet. This is the text, so full text. Let me do something actually, because I keep having to looking at this. Let me just put a set variables node. Like I'll show you exactly what it is, but let's do keyword. It just makes it so I don't have to go back to here and find everything. But if I put keyword here and I put get data set items, I put text. This is like the tweet, original tweet. And this is written tweet. I can go to Claude and get this. Now, if I go here to Google Sheets, let me run this. Using the add method does not work when pinned data in the scenario. Please unpin get data set items and try again. Okay, so we're in a bad position again. That's fine. Let me just do AI agents and then I can change this later. Let me just start this. Simple filter. Okay, cool. Then this runs. Okay, I just wanted the data here, so I can just send it here. Okay, now you see how I don't have to go back and forth in the form. Find it here, find it here, find it here. I already have it here. Keyword, original tweet, and rewritten post or tweet. Okay, so it's much easier for me to actually use it. Now, if I go here, I need to send this back to the keyword. Okay, I don't know what I did. I don't know why I did that. There you go. It's here. Keyword, So that's fine. Because again, we're mapping it from the previous steps. And lastly, I'm just gonna run everything from scratch to see how everything works. And one more thing we have to do is this right here. When it finishes, we have to get back here to make sure that we get the rest that are finished, because we have 215, only 50 go through all this. We want to go all the way back to get another 50 until it finishes. So let me unpin this. I'm just pressing P, hovering over it, pressing P. Now we're going to start the whole thing from scratch. Let me reload. Let me get this whole thing good. Let me execute workflow. And let me do MCP. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a pretty hot topic right now. So submit, we can go here. So now it's running the actor. So if I go to Apify, I can go to running and I can see here that is running, which is great to see. I guess most of the times when you're building automations, things don't go your way and things don't work, but it's about figuring it out. That's how you really become the system architect. When things don't go your way, you just build, you iterate, you just get better. And now we can see all of this is running, which is great. How many records did it get? Okay, we got 97 so far. All right, now it went to get the dataset items. It then sent it to the first AI step to check the relevance of the agent. And again, as you can see here, only 50 went through. And also, if you're asking what done is, this just means once everything is looped and everything's fine, what is the thing we do? In this case, if you leave it blank, nothing will happen. But you can maybe send an email to yourself saying, hey, we just finished looping through all the items. In this case, it's not really necessary, so we don't have to do it. All right, so it's good. Out of 50, only 27 went through. Now we're using Claude to rewrite the posts, which will take about 40 seconds before we add everything to the sheet. All right, so now it's finished, and now it's going to the Google Sheet. Now it's going back to get the other 50. So I can see here that, it is a bit messed up. So if I go here and I actually format it, I can see that now the keyword is MCP. This is the original tweets. This is the rewritten tweets. Now I can use this for whatever it is I have to use, right? Which I have a stream of content ideas just come through based on the top tweets, based on that topic in Twitter that I can use. I'm not going to go through, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through another iteration again, but now you got to see how we built it from scratch. It wasn't always perfect, but these are the different steps that we have. It's about thinking through exactly how you want to structure the whole system when it comes through, which is exactly why we start with Miro, and then we get onto the build. And if you want the full template to the system that we built out today, so you can save yourself an hour of actually building the system, then all you have to do is click the link down below, which will take you to my free school community, the AI Automation Circle. All you have to do is go to the Classroom section, the templates vault, and then right here on the n8n templates, you'll be able to see the latest video that has to do with whatever resource we have. You can press this button, download n8n blueprint. And then if you're still unsure as to how to import into your account, no worries at all. I also left a video right here, which shows you exactly step-by-step how you can do it. All right, so that right there marks the end for our build session. Again, you got to see exactly how I built it step-by-step, the detours, the mistakes I made, because again, it's not perfect. The automation part, I feel like a lot of people just show the end result, not the whole journey. But I feel like showing the whole journey makes it realistic, at least for you guys at home who are building and learning automations, because that's something I went through at the start. So I wish someone did that for me, and so on. And if you like these sort of videos where I actually build the system step by step, I show you all the detours and the mistakes I make, then feel free to let me know down below what other systems you'd like me to build. I'm more than happy to take ideas and take feedback so we can iterate and make the content as valuable as possible. And if you want to get deeper into n8n, then check out this video on the screen where I give you a full step-by-step tutorial on how you can build your first AI agent on the platform. With that being said, I'll see you in the next one.